it's your Casey, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed Radio, a show where we talk about the latest and biggest news stories in the world of sneakers. Joining me today is Corey and Marco. Fellas, what shoes are you guys wearing today, or what shoes are you guys planning on wearing? Corey, we're gonna start with you.
All right, so listen, I'm in Brooklyn. I woke up, it's kind of rainy today. I'm already feeling a little bit under the weather, but we getting through this. So I'm bringing out my favorite rain shoe of all time, OG Olive Nines. I think we talked about this in one of the past episodes, Marco. This is the closest I will ever get to a sneaker boot. But these Jones is mad comfortable. I feel like I can kick a rock and still look all right. So
Marco, what you got on today?
I just picked these up yesterday, and it's I'm starting to get back to that feeling where I get really excited about shoes again. I feel like we went through a route where I don't know, it was rare, but now I don't. Maybe it's because I never had a pair of Bapes before, but man, I gotta bust these out. I finally was able to get a pair, and it's just that feeling. You can't really describe it when you want a shoe so bad. You're waiting for it to come in. You're checking the tracking, and it's finally here. So I'm gonna bust these out and be very careful because I'm not part of that cooked white on white demographic, right? I'm gonna be rocking these crispy, so I'm excited to bring them up though.
I love that for you guys. Okay, so moving on to our first segment, it is News Unboxed, a segment where we highlight the most popular and trending news stories in the world of sneakers and so much more. Social Status unveiled this week another two silhouettes from their upcoming Nike Penny Hardaway collection. Retailer presented two Air Penny 2s in the contrasting colorways. The first silhouette uses a mix of sail and university blue on the upper with a white midsole, and then the second pair is inspired by the original Orlando Magic colorway, but replaces the royal blue with a lighter shade of blue and rose coloring. So both kicks will come with the copper colored keychain medallions in the shape of the sneaker, and then sneakers will also come with special packaging. As of now, there is no release date, but reports suggest the kicks are supposed to release soon. Have you guys seen these, and what do you guys think of them? Marco?
I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it every time we see a new shoe out of the Whitaker group. Social Status, James Whitner, his whole team, they are not missing when it comes to shoes, and I love that we're seeing something new, right? It's not a new silhouette that's not popular, but it's a new silhouette that maybe this era of collaborations and this last 5 years of sneakers hasn't really dipped into. Some of this amazing Nike basketball catalog. I love both of these. I really like the one with the cream on them, and I've never had a pair of Penny 2s, and I'll be happy to own my first pair with the Social Status tag on them.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like I know I'm always in here like, oh, I can see Corey in these, but like looking at these, like the Penny Hardaway, is like I feel like I could really see Marco in these, right?
Mm-hmm. I hope so. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Corey, what do you think of these?
Nah, these Jones is dope. Like Marco said, man, Social Status and the Winner Group, they're not missing. It's funny. Like I saw, I just saw the cream ones today. A picture of the black ones came into one of my group chats yesterday, and like everybody went crazy. I think this is a shoe that ties into nostalgia. Obviously, Penny, to my generation, is probably one of those legacy Nike athletes that really ran it in that kind of murky time, of Jordan not deciding if he wanted to do it, then deciding he wanted to do it, so on and so forth. So I think Penny always is going to get a lot of love when he comes with that. And I mean, yeah, like for Social Status to kind of take on the Penny 2, it's definitely more of a basketball-y shoe than like something that people can wear style-wise. So I'm very interested to see how people kind of get these off.
Okay, so moving on, but still talking about releases. For the release of the Air Jordan 1 Rebellionaire, Jordan Brand teamed up with local sneaker boutiques from around the world for a more direct consumer experience. So this weekend, or this past weekend, a few local retailers held a few special events, raffles, activations for the release of the shoe. The kicks are set to drop this weekend at a few other boutiques worldwide, and they will also host special activations and raffles for this release. Nike has confirmed that the Rebellionaire Air Jordan 1 will not be released on the sneaker app in the US, but make sure you guys look for the Air Jordan 1 Rebellionaire to drop tomorrow at locations like Extra Butter, Bodega, Bait, and more for $170. Marco, thoughts on the way the Jordan Brand and retailers have rolled out this shoe?
This was the best release of the year. Not the best sneaker of the year, the best release of the year. It's been a long time since I've seen this much energy around one sneaker. And looking across the country at all the special releases about this, seeing people lined up again safely and stores redecorated. That's really taking me back to the era where storytelling mattered on sneakers. I'll be the first to admit I don't love this shoe, but I love the energy around it and how many people were excited about it. Think about this. It released all over the country at special community, neighborhood focused boutiques. You had people out there celebrating their cities, celebrating the sneakers, and celebrating community and sneaker culture as a whole. There was no fights. You saw the headlines everywhere. No drama, no fights. It looks like all of them sold through. I just don't see that happening if this shoe had released via sneakers or another platform, because when you put the power of storytelling to the hands of the owners of these boutiques across the world, they live and die for sneakers. They've dedicated their entire life to sneakers, and storytelling is an important part of that. So it was beautiful to see, and I applaud Jordan for, again, putting some focus on those neighborhood doors, because that's who the true consumer is, right? The people that are shopping there on a weekly basis and supporting those businesses. Is great to give those consumers something back.
Echo everything Marco said. I mean, I think it's really dope. Like, you know, I came into the sneaker game, you know, I'm born and raised in Philly. I came into the sneaker game working at, you know, Philadelphia's major sneaker boutique, which was Ubik. So I remember those days of like getting specialty drops and, you know, us as, you know, workers and store associates, us being the ones that kind of had to think about, okay, how do we make this shoe look cool? How do we make, you know, people want to come buy the shoe? You know, are we going to have a party surrounding the shoe? Like, just different stuff like that. And, you know, obviously with social media and the internet and, you know, sneakers and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff has been kind of tossed to the wayside. So I appreciate Jordan Brand kind of giving, you know, different retailers in different cities, you know, a chance to kind of represent themselves, because then not only does that make your product look good, but it also allows the retailers to kind of puff their chests out a little bit, say, hey, we do things different here in, you know, Seattle than they do there in Dallas, right? Like, you know, I saw some of the activation from ATF in Atlanta. This guy KO that I follow on Instagram, like he works at the store and he put up a lot of this stuff and it's ill, right? Like kind of similar to Marco as well. Like I'm not really a fan of the shoe, but you know, I kind of look at this as an opportunity for Jordan to kind of see like, all right, this is what we did for this shoe. This is the ROI and return on the investment we got of really giving these stores, you know, an opportunity to be able to kind of showcase themselves again. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a lot of the more hyper drops, hopefully with the same, you know, positive, you know, feedback and positive experiences. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of the more bigger drops kind of happen the same way. And really, you know, anything that kind of puts, you know, the talent, the ball back in the hands of the boutiques, you know, who make the sneaker game run, I'm all the way here for. So shout out to Jordan Brand for doing that. This was dope.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of that. But still talking about releases, we are moving on to my favorite segment of the show, which is Drops of the Week. A look at some of the most coveted sneaker releases of the week. Are these kicks a buy or are they a pass? So the first one up is the Clot Nike Dunk Flux, releasing today, March 18th at $150. Thoughts on these? Are they a buy or a pass, Corey?
All right, so I talked about these shoes, I think, on a couple episodes ago. Not necessarily my personal style, just with it kind of being like it looks like an all silvery, you know, kind of meshy shoe. That's not really my thing, but this is a shoe that I can definitely see a bunch of people styling in their own individual ways, right? Like I think, you know, Clot has, you know, it's been a brand that has always kind of interwoven their own personal makeup and their own personal storylines into all the shoes that they do. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if we got a pair of these in hand, we would still see the same thing. A lot of like the little details and markings and stuff like that. But yeah, not necessarily for me style-wise, but I think this is going to be a good shoe that a lot of people are going to get off.
We're in such a great era for sneakers, right? There's good shoes dropping every weekend, and the thing that I love the most is not every single one of them is for everybody, right? There's that sneaker FOMO is starting to become a little bit more distant to me. I don't need every shoe anymore. I'm just like, yo, this is a dope shoe. I hope the people that want it get it. It's a pass for me, but I love that there's so much energy and so many different styles coming out right now. There's something for everybody if you love sneakers.
No, I totally agree. I think that the sneaker is a very cool sneaker, and I think that whomever cops it, it'll definitely be like a dope fit with them. I don't really see myself wearing them, so like both Corey.
I'm about to pull a Casey. Now Casey, if we're talking about shoes that we see fit for people, I see you wearing this shoe. It is not a clunky shoe. It's not a bulky shoe. it's a shoe that has personality to it, and it's a shoe that I think could probably fit what you got on right now.
No.
Marco, do you agree? I see this as a Casey shoe.
He's making some good points.
No, I definitely agree. I'm more of like a gold girl. Maybe that's why I'm kind of like shied away from like the silver. I think it is a cool shoe, and I could see myself wearing.
Yeah. I'm more of a gold girl.
You know what I mean? But I am a gold girl, and so like pulling off silver is like a little bit, difficult. But I mean, like I said, I probably would pass on them if I had to purchase them myself. But if I was gifted them,
if you were gifted, you would make it work.
No, I'd rock them.
Listen, listen. FYI to everybody that's checking, Casey's a gold girl. Don't get it messed up. Continue.
Gold girl, period. Okay, so moving on to the Adidas Yeezy 700 V3 Mono Safflower, releasing today, March 18th, at $200. So what are your guys' thoughts on these? Are they a buy or a pass, Marco?
Pass for me, but I got a silhouette last year of these. It was one of my first Yeezys I had gotten, and I like this shoe. I haven't figured out a way to rock it yet. It's a great, fascinating shoe to look at. I love the design, but I have one that I haven't worn, so I think this colorway is nice. But I gotta figure out.
Comfortable?
I tried them on. They're a little difficult to put on. I think I'll walk to like the grocery store with them. They're not uncomfortable, right? But it's just more so of like trying to figure out that how they go together with what I want to wear. But I think this colorway is dope. I actually really like this silhouette. It's something like it just doesn't look like anything else on the market. It's cool. I'm gonna pass on these because I got a pair that I gotta figure out how to wear. But it's a nice shoe.
I could definitely see this like you said, like kind of like a run at the grocery store, like very like much like sweat chill vibes with this sneaker. Corey, what do you think? Are you clapping or are you passing?
I mean, yeah, I'm a pass. As we go through these, like episode in and episode out, and Yeezys come up, I really don't think I'm a fan of the Yeezy line. I feel like I'm kind of always passing on these. But I will say this: the colorway is really dope. I can kind of understand what Marco's talking about, just as far as like how necessarily to rock them. Like, it doesn't look like it just doesn't look anything practical to me in my personal style of how to rock them. But this colorway is ill. Like, it's kind of like it's called sunflower, but like it's like a little fire in there. It's like it's warm. It's a warm shoe. I mean, I like the colorway and stuff like that. The model, I don't necessarily know if it's for me.
Like Corey said, I'm not really a fan of Yeezys, so I'm gonna pass on them. But the silhouette is cool. The colorway is cool. It's just Yeezys aren't really for me. So moving on to our last release of the week, it is the Puma MB01 Queen City, releasing today, March 18th at $125. Thoughts on these, you guys? Are they a buy or a pass? Okay, so let's not really think like wearing to the store or wearing like daily. Like maybe let's think more like, would you hoop in these? Are they a buy or a pass when it comes to hooping in them? Corey, let me talk to me.
Kate, we already speaking the same language. Like, I don't know. Even as somebody that's not a hooper, I've always just been a fan of what I call hoop shoes. Like I said, March Madness is starting soon, so I'm looking excited to see, who's wearing the hoop shoes in March Madness. So I'm already looking at this through that lens, right? Like, I'm not looking at this as something that I will wear to the club or, out or whatever, but is it something I think somebody could hoop in? I think these, like, just this entire silhouette is really good. I think Puma has really, like, they've done a good job of kind of identifying who their target, I guess, audience is, but also like who their athletes are, obviously with Melo and stuff like that. I think that this is really good. I mean, obviously, shout out to the Queen City. Queen City, if I'm not mistaken, is like a nickname for Charlotte. So I mean, it fits the kind of Hornets colorways and stuff like that. I think these are cool. I think these are good hoop sneaks. I haven't heard anyone that has actually worn them, so obviously we can't speak to comfort and things like that. Okay, Case, I'm gonna let you tap in on that. But if these are something to play ball in, for sure, I would be down for that.
Yeah, no, I actually was gifted these from Puma, no flex. I'm not trying to be Marco. But no, I was gifted them and I actually did hoop in them I think like a week or two ago. And they are super comfortable. They're lightweight. They remind me very much of like almost like a Kyrie KD to hoop in. I think I rated them on my story like a 7 out of 10, and the only reason I ranked them as 7 out of 10 was just because I think they were like Nike, so I couldn't fully give them like a 9 or a 10. But they were super comfortable to hoop in. I probably should have sized maybe like half size up on them. But I love the colorways that they have done on this silhouette. I think that they are great. I love that like bright neon color. They look great on the court, on feet, and I'm excited to see more of the colorways that come with this model.
I don't remember the last time I bought a Puma in my life. Honestly, if ever. And I don't mean that to hate on the brand. It's just never been my brand. However, if there's going to be somebody that makes me buy a Puma, it's going to be Lamelo Ball. I'm a fan of everything that he does. It had to be maybe 4 or 5 years ago. The Ball family has been in our world if you're a basketball fan for a really long time. I'm a Laker fan, so the Lonzo Ball, all that stuff. And there was a point where every grown-ass man on the internet was rooting for Lamelo Ball, like 16, 17 years old, to fail, right? Just because they didn't like the way his dad spoke, or they didn't like this or that. And I just decided, like, dude, this kid, you're just writing him off and you want him to fail just because simply you don't like the way someone said something on the internet. And since that day, I was like, yo, I want this kid to succeed, and he's done everything since then to shut up the haters. So I'm a big fan of him, his style, like he's just so himself, and I love that. So if there's gonna be a Puma I'm gonna buy to play ball in, it's gonna be the Lamelos, because I think they look nice. And Puma has been trying since they came back to basketball a few years ago, has been spending a ton of money on lottery picks to try to figure out who that next star is going to be. They found one in J. Cole, who wasn't a lottery pick and had a successful shoe, and now I think they got one with LaMelo Ball. So I'm excited about these.
Okay, so moving on to Community Buzz. This is a segment where we highlight our community, its members, and its leaders. So earlier this week, SoleSavy unveiled their newest silhouette, the SS3, in collaboration with Garrison Studios. Marco, tell us a little bit about this collaboration.
A lot of sneakerheads have one thing in common, or multiple things in common. But one story they often share is growing up in class, or maybe out of class, doodling, sketching your own shoes as growing up. I know I did it, and they were probably trash. That's why I'm not a designer. However, that is such a common urge or goal or dream of sneakerheads. What would my own shoe look like? We gave our members an opportunity to design their own as a collective community, right? So we had 180 members over the last year or so coming together on Zooms on a weekly basis to pick everything from materials, inspiration, design, colorway, boxes, insoles, laces. All of that we gave sneakerheads the opportunity to design for the first time ever in their life. So I think it's cool. This goes back into what we're trying to do at SoleSavy. How do we provide more new sneaker experiences to people who love shoes? And this is a perfect example of that. And I'm really proud of the team that helped facilitate this, the Garrison Studio of folks, and then of course the members, right? Like, imagine putting your thoughts, your ideas, your creativity into a shoe that you can now wear. So this is an exciting one for us as a community, because it's, again, how do we offer things to sneakerheads that nobody else is offering? Design a shoe.
How many people can say, like, yo, I chipped into, actually having a sneaker made, right? Like, and I think that's one of the things that, as we see more and more, that platforms need to start giving creators a platform to create. So shout out to SoleSavy for doing it. Obviously, the main thing that kind of caught my eye was the insole, as you can see behind me. The wave of kind of God was probably one of my favorite paintings. So to see that in the insole, like, whoever voted on that, shout out to y'all. But this is ill, man. Congrats to the designers, congrats to everybody involved and stuff like that. And SoleSavy, you guys did a great job.
Yeah, definitely special. Okay, so moving on to our last segment, it is You Deadass. This is a fun segment where we highlight and share our thoughts on the wildest stories that went viral this week. Okay, so these videos piss me off. But a TikTok user decided to dissect his pair of Kobe 6 KOs, which, if you guys know, these are very hard to come across, and when you do, they are very expensive. This TikTok user can be seen taking a box cutter and removing the entire upper of the shoe. It is really heart-wrenching, honestly. Removes the midsole, takes out the air bubble. This shoe is right now reselling for $1,300. People in the comments were super upset with this TikTok user. Did you guys see the video? And did it rip out your heart like it ripped out mine? Corey?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like, when I saw it, obviously part of me was kind of interested, because obviously I've never seen what a Kobe 6 looks like, the integral works of it. But I mean, not that one. Even as somebody that, has been learning more about, just the different colorways and collaborations of the Kobe line. I admittedly was not necessarily like that in the know, years back. But I know the KIs are very special, obviously, with the connections, to breast cancer awareness. It was always a really dope shoe for me to see on somebody playing in the league. And it's just like, you understand, the importance of the shoe. Like, I didn't know until recently that they never got re-released. So, like, the fact that you're doing this to an original KL right now, just pick another shoe to do this with.
I have a correction to make. Earlier we were talking about, I think, the clots, and I said something that was untrue. I said we were living in a great time of sneaker culture. I was wrong. We're living in dark times. Dark times.
You recant the entire statement?
This is one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite Kobe of all time, even ahead of the Grinch, because I couldn't get the Grinch back then. They were reselling for like a rack. So I really wanted 6s, and I ended up with this pair, and it just had so many special meanings to me because of what it represents. And this is the second time I've owned this pair. I'm looking at the video, and it's a Protro, meaning that's a sample pair that an NBA player must have gotten their hands on, or a WNBA player must have had gotten their hands on, which I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Maybe it's better because it's not an OG pair. I understand why they cut it up. They want to see what's in a Protro, but come on, man, there were a few different Protros that dropped last year that could have been cut up, right? They were all fire, but I would have rather cut up an All-Star or one of those ones that were a little bit easier to get than a unreleased Protro sample that only players got. I will say this though, I am praying that and hoping that the Kobe Bryant Estate and Nike can and whatever brands they want to work with can figure something out, because the Kobe 6 is a special shoe. It's my favorite shoe, and I think that people who love the shoe, who love Kobe, who've never even had a Kobe, deserve a chance to get those. So I'm really hoping they come back, especially that colorway. But looking at that one, it looks like it's the Protro model. It doesn't have the KL ribbon on it. So that means there's pairs floating around. Fingers crossed that one day we're able to get those.
Yeah, I'm honestly hoping that was like a really good fake knockoff from like something, you know what I mean? Made in the same factory, but not like a real pair. So yeah, that ripped my heart out. As always, again, thank you everybody who tuned in, and thank you for watching another episode of Unbox Radio. Again, if you liked it, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment. We love reading your guys' comments, and make sure you guys subscribe. Corey, Marco, it's been great. Until next time, peace.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace, y'all.